The rain tapped gently on the glossy black car as it pulled up outside the grand five-star hotel. Its marble pillars gleamed under the streetlights, a symbol of wealth and indulgence. Inside, laughter spilled from the lavish lobby, chandeliers glittered, and the fragrance of expensive perfume floated in the air. Victor stepped out, his polished shoes clicking against the wet pavement. His hand rested lightly on the waist of the young woman beside him, his mistress, Lydia. She wore a crimson dress that hugged her figure, her heels clicking softly as she leaned into him. "Are you sure nobody will see us here?" she whispered, her voice low, like a secret trembling in the night. Victor smirked, brushing his cufflinks. "Relax. This is the most discreet hotel in the city. No one we know would dare step foot here." But his words carried a faint tremor. Deep down, he knew he was playing with fire. His wife, Elena, was sharp. Too sharp. As they entered the lobby, Lydia's laughter rang like a bell. Guests turned their heads, some in admiration, some in judgment. Victor ignored them. He booked the presidential suite, slipping a folded bill into the receptionist's hand. Everything seemed perfect. Too perfect. A hush fell over the lobby when the elevator doors opened. A group of executives stepped aside as a woman walked out. She was tall, elegant, and carried an aura that made people lower their voices. Her heels clicked like thunder across the marble floor. Victor's heart skipped. His breath caught in his throat. It was Elena, his wife. But she wasn't just walking in. She wasn't here as a guest. She was surrounded by managers, staff members, and a line of security guards. The hotel staff bowed slightly as she passed. And then, one of the managers said the words that froze Victor's world. "Congratulations, Mrs. Elena, on becoming the new owner of this hotel. We're honored to serve you." Victor's hand slipped from Lydia's waist. His legs trembled. And Elena's eyes? They locked on him. Cold. Unblinking. Burning with a fire he had never seen before. Silent moment. What would you do if your secret affair was exposed in the very place your spouse owned? Elena's lips curved into a smile, but it wasn't warmth. It was war. The elevator doors closed behind Elena's entourage, but the silence she left in the lobby was heavier than thunder. Victor stood rooted to the floor, his hand trembling as Lydia tugged at his sleeve. "Victor, who is she?" Lydia whispered, her voice cracking. Victor swallowed hard. His throat was dry. "No one, just someone I know." But his eyes betrayed him. He couldn't look away from the marble staircase where Elena had stopped, turning gracefully to address the staff. Her voice was steady, calm, yet powerful enough to command every ear in the hall. "From today," she announced, "this hotel is under my management. Every detail matters. Every face matters. And every lie will be uncovered." Her words echoed through the chandelier-lit lobby like an omen. Victor felt sweat gathering on his forehead. Lydia shifted uncomfortably, sensing the danger in his silence. "Victor, tell me," she hissed softly, panic rising. "Is she your wife?" The word wife pierced the air like broken glass. Victor didn't answer. He couldn't. His lips trembled, his jaw clenched. He wanted to deny it, to lie, but his heart thudded so loud it seemed the entire room could hear. Elena turned again, her eyes sweeping the lobby. And then she spotted them. The pause that followed was unbearable. Lydia's nails dug into Victor's wrist. A drop of sweat rolled down his temple. "Elena," he finally whispered, his voice faint, almost inaudible. But Elena didn't rush. She descended the staircase slowly, each step deliberate. Click, click, click. Her heels echoed like a ticking clock counting down to judgment. The staff parted to clear her path, their eyes darting between the elegant new owner and the man whose face was draining of color. Finally, she stood before him. Her perfume lingered in the air, roses mixed with steel. Her gaze shifted once toward Lydia, then back to Victor. "Well," Elena said coolly, tilting her head. "What an unexpected surprise." Victor forced a weak smile, his voice stumbling. "Elena, I didn't know you." "That I owned this place?" she cut in, her words sharp as glass. "Yes, I can see that." Silent moment. Lydia tried to step back, but Elena's eyes pinned her in place. "And who is this?" Elena asked, her tone deceptively polite. "Your colleague? A business partner, perhaps?" Victor's mouth opened, but no words came out. His chest tightened. Lydia's face burned with shame, her crimson dress suddenly feeling like a scarlet flag waving in front of an angry bull. Elena's smile widened, but it wasn't kind. It was the smile of a queen who already knew the truth but enjoyed watching her enemy squirm. "Careful, Victor," she said softly, leaning closer so only he could hear. "Because this hotel has walls that listen and walls that talk." Victor's knees nearly buckled. He tried to steady his breathing, but it came out ragged, uneven. Lydia clung to his arm, but her presence only made his humiliation heavier. "Elena, please," he whispered, "don't do this here." "Oh no," Elena said, her eyes flashing. "This is exactly the place. A palace of glass and mirrors. The perfect stage for the truth." Her voice was calm, but her words struck like daggers. The staff glanced uneasily, pretending not to stare, though curiosity burned in their eyes. Guests whispered, covering their mouths behind champagne glasses. Victor's world was collapsing in slow motion. And then Elena snapped her fingers. Instantly, a manager rushed to her side. "Clear the presidential suite," she ordered. "I think we need a private conversation." The staff obeyed. The elevator doors slid open, awaiting them like the gates of judgment. Victor's feet felt like lead, but Elena's stare gave him no choice. Lydia's grip on his arm tightened in fear. With every step toward the elevator, Victor's heart screamed louder. This is the end. The doors closed behind them with a metallic thud. Inside the golden-lit cage, Elena turned slowly toward him, her voice icy. "Now, Victor, tell me, how long has the lie been alive?" The elevator climbed in silence. The golden walls reflected three trembling figures: Victor, pale and sweating; Lydia, shrinking in shame; and Elena, composed, her eyes sharp like blades. The soft hum of the elevator filled the void until Elena finally spoke. Her voice was quiet, but it cut deeper than a scream. "Answer me, Victor. How long?" Victor's lips parted, but his throat tightened. His tongue felt like stone. He glanced at Lydia, who clutched her purse as if it could shield her from judgment. "Elena, please." "Don't beg," she snapped, her tone still calm but laced with venom. "I'm not here for apologies. I'm here for the truth." The elevator chimed. Ding. The doors slid open to reveal the grand presidential suite. Velvet curtains, crystal chandeliers, gold-trimmed mirrors. The room smelled of roses and aged wine. A place meant for love, indulgence, and betrayal. Elena stepped inside, her heels sinking softly into the thick carpet. Victor followed, his legs weak. Lydia lingered near the door, frozen. Elena turned, her eyes pinning Victor. "This room, was this where you planned to dishonor me? To replace your wife with her?" Her finger flicked slightly toward Lydia, who flinched. "Elena, it wasn't like that." "Oh, wasn't it?" Elena's voice rose, not in volume, but in force. "Then tell me, Victor, was it business dinners when you disappeared for hours? Was it charity work when your phone went silent? Or was it—" She stopped. Silent moment. Her breath hitched, but her expression remained icy. Was it love? The question stabbed Victor's heart. He couldn't meet her gaze. His silence spoke louder than any answer. Lydia finally stepped forward, her voice trembling. "Mrs. Elena, I didn't know. He told me." "Quiet," Elena commanded, her hand lifting slightly. Her eyes burned through the young woman. "You knew. Maybe not his wife's name, but you knew he was someone else's. You always know." Lydia's eyes watered. She looked away, shame swallowing her whole. Victor raised a hand, his voice desperate. "Please, Elena, don't drag her into this. It was my mistake." Elena's laughter cut him off. Low, bitter, like broken glass crunching underfoot. "Your mistake," she whispered. "Victor, a mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is losing your keys. But betrayal? That's not a mistake. That's a choice." Her words slammed into him, each one heavier than the last. His chest heaved as guilt clawed at him. Do you know what the cruelest part is? Elena's voice softened, almost breaking. For the first time, a flicker of pain shone in her eyes. You thought I wouldn't find out. That I was blind. But, Victor. She stepped closer, so near he could feel the heat of her breath. I've known for months. Victor's stomach dropped. You what? Yes, she said, her smile bitter. Every late night. Every lie. Every trace of her perfume on your suit. I watched. I waited. And do you know why? Victor shook his head, his voice barely a whisper. Why? Because I wanted you to show me who you truly were. Silent moment. Victor's knees weakened. He collapsed onto the velvet sofa, burying his face in his hands. His chest rattled with shallow breaths. Lydia stood frozen near the door, her hands trembling. Maybe I should leave. No, Elena said firmly, her gaze never leaving Victor. You stay. You need to hear this too. She turned her back to them, walking slowly toward the floor-to-ceiling window. The city lights shimmered below, like 1,000 watchful eyes. Her reflection stared back at her, strong yet wounded. Then she whispered words that made both Victor and Lydia stiffen in fear. Tonight, Victor, you're going to lose more than just your pride. She turned slowly, her eyes glinting like fire. You're going to lose everything. The words hung in the air like thunder before a storm. You're going to lose everything. Victor's head snapped up, his face pale. Elena, please don't do this. We can talk, we can fix this. Fix. Elena laughed, the sound hollow, sharp. She turned from the window, her eyes blazing. Tell me, Victor, how do you fix trust once it's shattered? How do you glue together a heart you've stomped on? Victor's lips trembled. His hands shook as he reached for her. I never meant to hurt you. Her voice rose, not in anger, but in raw pain. But you did. Every secret meeting, every lie, every time you looked into my eyes and pretended I was the only one. You hurt me, Victor. Silent moment. The chandelier light flickered, casting long shadows across the velvet walls. Lydia shifted uncomfortably, guilt etched into her face. She opened her mouth to speak, but Elena's hand lifted in command. Not a word from you, she said coldly. You're just a shadow in this story. He was supposed to be my partner, my husband, my forever. Victor buried his face in his hands. Elena, I was weak. I was stupid. Her eyes narrowed. Stupid? No, Victor. Stupid is forgetting your tie at home. Stupid is burning toast. You weren't stupid. You were greedy. You had everything, and you still wanted more. Victor's chest heaved. The silence between them was suffocating, broken only by the ticking of the ornate clock on the wall. Then Elena moved closer, her heels whispering against the carpet. She leaned down, her face inches from his. Her voice dropped to a whisper, dangerous and calm. You think this hotel is just another trophy of mine, don't you? Another business deal. Victor looked up, confused. What do you mean? Elena straightened, her gaze sharp as glass. This hotel isn't just mine, Victor. Every signature, every share, every ounce of ownership. I took it from you. Victor's eyes widened in horror. What? Elena smiled faintly, almost sadly. You were so busy chasing pleasure, you didn't notice me buying out the board. You didn't notice when the investors turned. You didn't notice when your name slowly faded off the contracts. His heart pounded in his ears. His hands shook. No, that's not possible. Oh, but it is, Elena said softly. While you were busy betraying me, I was busy building my freedom. Victor staggered to his feet, rage and fear colliding. You planned this? You waited for me to fall, so you could. Elena's eyes glistened, but her voice was steady. No, Victor. I didn't wait for you to fall. I prepared for the day you would. Because deep down, I knew this man I loved would betray me. Silent pause. Victor's breath caught. The room felt smaller, the air heavier. He turned to Lydia, who looked terrified, trapped in a storm not hers to own. Elena, please, he begged, his voice breaking. Don't destroy me. Don't ruin my life. Her lips curved into a sad smile. Victor, you already ruined it yourself. The silence was unbearable. The city lights outside seemed to burn brighter, as if mocking his downfall. Lydia finally whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Victor, maybe we should leave." But Elena raised her hand again. "Oh no, he doesn't get to leave. Not yet. Not before he hears what comes next." Her voice dropped to a whisper, filled with finality. "Tomorrow morning, Victor, the papers will publish everything. Your affair, your lies, your downfall. And when the world sees the man behind the mask." She leaned closer, her breath icy against his ear. "You'll realize that losing me was just the beginning." Victor's knees buckled as the weight of her words crushed him. His eyes darted toward the door, but Elena's voice stopped him cold. "Run if you want, but the world outside already knows your truth." Victor's body felt heavier with every breath. The golden sweet, once a symbol of wealth and power, now pressed down on him like a coffin. His heart pounded, his palms slick with sweat. "Elena," he croaked, voice breaking. "You can't do this. Not to me. Not after everything we shared." Elena stood tall, her silhouette framed by the city lights streaming through the glass. She looked less like a betrayed wife and more like a queen, calm, commanding, unshakable. "I'm not doing this to you, Victor," she said, her tone steady. "You did this to yourself." Silent moment. Lydia pressed herself against the wall, her crimson dress now looking more like a stain than elegance. "Maybe we should go quietly," she whispered. Her voice trembled, small against the storm. Elena's gaze flicked toward her, sharp as lightning. "You will walk out of here untouched. Because you were never the one with promises to keep." Lydia nodded quickly, shame flooding her cheeks. Victor fell to his knees, clutching at Elena's hand. His voice cracked. "Elena, please. I'll end this. I'll leave her. I'll change. Just don't destroy me." Her eyes softened for the briefest moment, and in that flash, the pain beneath her steel facade showed. The love she once carried, the trust she once believed in. But then, her jaw tightened. "Victor," she whispered, her voice low. "Do you know what destroyed us? It wasn't Lydia. It wasn't temptation. It was your choice. You chose to betray me. And that choice has consequences." Her words fell like a verdict. Victor's body shook. He covered his face, sobbing. The sound of his broken cries echoed through the grand room, louder than any apology. Elena stepped back, her heels clicking softly against the carpet. She turned toward the door. The staff were waiting outside. The world was waiting outside. "Elena," Victor cried, his voice desperate, echoing in the silence. "Don't leave me with nothing." She paused, her hand resting on the golden handle. Her shoulder stiffened, but she didn't turn. Without looking back, she said, "I didn't leave you with nothing. I left you with the truth. That's more than you ever gave me." Silent pause. The door opened. The bright lights of the hallway spilled into the room like judgment itself. Elena walked out, her head held high, her figure dissolving into the shadows of her guards. The door closed behind her with a heavy thud. Victor remained on the floor, shattered, while Lydia stood in silence, staring at the man she thought was powerful, but now saw as broken. The city outside glittered, indifferent to his downfall. And in that moment, Victor realized the hotel, the money, the lies, the mask he wore, none of it mattered anymore. What mattered was gone. Forever. If you were Elena, would you have done the same? Would you destroy the man who betrayed you? Or would you forgive him?